Hey guys, this is IXRollOutIX with part 4 in my 00 Riser saga. In this part, we will be covering the 00 Riser. Now, the 00 Riser cheats at life. Not only in battle, but in its design. It defies gravity, although most of the time it's in space. Actually, all the time it's in space, so I guess that point is invalid. However, I am not in space. I am far from space, so gravity eludes me. It was very hard to get the design down, to have it look accurate and still have it just be light enough, have the components for the 00 Riser be so light that it wouldn't topple just by moving it. I succeeded, but just barely. Now, without further ado, crossing our fingers and hoping all goes well, let's form the 00 Riser. This is going to be interesting. So, we're going to start by messing with the O-Riser, seeing as most of the transformation, well, all the transformation, lies with this. You're going to pull off the binders here. Set those off to the side. And deal with this. Now, it's got a soft ratchet there, and a normal joint there. Though they're both very well hidden. So you bend that down. And I love how that works. It's so flush, and then seamlessly goes down like that, which is really cool. Then this goes down right here. Now this is a soft ratchet, and this is a normal friction joint. This doesn't need the stability of the soft ratchet because both sides of the joint will be stabilized because it attaches with these points here. But pretty cool. This needs to be a ratchet because, well, it has no support otherwise, and this actually moves. You can see the video here is going excellently so far. Pieces popping off, and hopefully that's not a prelude to disaster. So, let's bring in the 00 Gundam, and these studs here attach here and here, and the studs down here attach here and here. That's pretty simple, as long as you don't rip open the chest, but there you go. Now, it's very solid. You can make it even more solid because down here on the fin, there are two more studs that can plug in to the back skirt somewhat to give it a little more solidity, but I don't think we need that at the moment. It's very top heavy, but that's why we have a stand. So straighten this out. And looks like we are good to go. Now let's add the binders. This is where it gets really frustrating, unless you're lucky. Because these bits here attach with one stud so they can rotate. These bits here, the G and drives, have one stud on the end. This entire thing attaches with one stud, two if you count the attachment point here. The attachment point at the end of the G and drive is actually very solid. It's the point here that is quite brittle. Not to mention that the G and drive here spins freely, so you don't really have much option with this because they'll always fall where gravity goes. But I don't really mind. You can avoid that in some ways, and I'll show you how. But let's hope for the best. Yeah, he's leaning to the side. That'll be fixed eventually. And there's our first problem. You can see it's attached with one stud. This will go on and will be pretty solid eventually. But getting it there is quite a hassle. That was surprisingly easy. And there you go. The 00 riser. It's very static at the moment. And to get it in a good pose, you have to fiddle around with the bits and make sure nothing falls off. But for the time being, it's pretty good looking. It's fairly accurate with the binders on the sides and this on the back. I mean, there's really nothing on this that isn't accurate. So, that's all good. Now you can imagine these are very, very precarious on these two studs. Well, really just that one stud there. There are a few ways to avoid this. The first of which is pretty obvious. You just bring these down on the hinge there, and they prop on the shoulders. While this works, and it doesn't look too bad, it's incredibly limiting. If you have it like this, you can't do anything with the binders. Which, I mean, it makes it solid, but I think you're better off just having them in a less static position and risking the fact that they might fall off than having it so that there's a better chance they won't fall off, but having it look a bit less cool. If you're used to this channel by now, you know I'm more of a looks over function kind of guy. But there is one way, and one of my more favorite ways to pose this is having the 00 riser pretty much full speed ahead with the O-riser cockpit, well, not really cockpit, the O-riser sensor just straight back as it zooms forward with the binders all the way back, and it leaning a bit forward on the stand. Now, how this supports it is that these little fins here actually do support the binders, which makes pulling off a pose like this a whole lot easier than it would be without it. And you can get him pretty far forward before anything bad goes down, which is really cool. And this is the pose I have my 00 riser in most often. And just to show this off, it is pretty solid. You can have these straight out like this without much of a problem. Well, any problem at all. It's quite solid. Though, like I said, these are free turning, so they will shake a bit, but unless you have it at a very precarious angle, it's not going to topple if you just have it looking like this, which is pretty cool. And there you are. Honestly, that's about it. The 00 riser is just very simply a combination of the O-riser and the 00 Gundam. So, you've seen both components, so there's really not a lot to go over with the final product of the two combined. But it's been a trek. Thank you guys for watching, and this is IXRollOutIX, signing off.